All right, folks, good morning. Just get some admin stuff put in and we will get started here. All right, there's that. And that. All right, hello Joseph, nice to see you here. All right, so happy Valentine's Day first off to everybody. Welcome to today's Microsoft Flight Simulator live stream. We are in Italy. We're going from Rome to near Naples. Mainly because Rome is tied to the history of Valentine's Day, kind of. So, yeah, we're going to get in here, get everything set up, and then we'll talk more about it once we're in the air. So let's get things going. Yeah, should be. Hopefully, it'll be a fun flight, interesting flight. We may change the weather depending on what we see when we spawn in here. It's maybe some clouds, and that's all. Ooh, no, maybe we want to change that just to lift the spirits just a smidge. Let's do that. Not clear skies. We just want, yeah, a few clouds. There we go. That's better. We don't want to be too sunny. All right, let's get all of our stuff turned on here. And everything should be set. Set to starter. There we are. Oh, it's the primer. Didn't need that. All right, let's call in for our taxi stuff. Yeah, I'm doing okay, Joseph. Just a little slow this morning, but that's just because of the cold weather.
Urbe ground, Valentine's 237, request taxi for takeoff departing straight out.
Valentine's 237 taxi to and hold short of runway 16 using taxiway Alpha Charlie. Contact tower on 123.81 ready.
Taxiing hold short runway 16 via taxiway Alpha Charlie Valentine's 237.
All right, so we got to head over that way. So I couldn't find a completely red plane, but I figured this would be close enough to a little red for Valentine's Day. Oh, no problem, Joseph. Glad to help out. Glad to pop in for a little bit. Must be going down a little hill here or something. This plane just wants to go on its own. I know I'm throttled back too.
Tower Valentine.
Yeah.
237 ready for departing straight out at runway 16. Valentine's 237 altimeter 29er.9er 2 wind 266 at 7. Departing straight out. Approved. Cleared for takeoff runway 16. Cleared for takeoff runway 16 Valentine's 237.
Alright, I think we are all set. Maybe just get a little bit of flap down for the... I think we're all ready to go. Let's go do this. Away we go. Should turn to the left if I remember correctly from our... I think, yep. We'll make a slight left turn here. Once we're past our climb marker here. Oh, next one's straight ahead there. Oh, perfect. All right, so Valentine's Day. Oh, I can this on here too. Not that you can see it, but I can, so that's all good. So, you know, of course, everybody thinks of Valentine's Day. You think of the little cheesy cards and, you know, buying chocolates and all that kind of stuff. So in preparation for this, I thought, well, let's find out really what the history is of Valentine's Day. And it turns out it's not as pretty as one might think it is. So check this out. The history of the name. Numerous early Christian martyrs were named Valentine. The Valentines honored on February 14th are Valentine of Rome and Valentine of Terni. Valentine of Rome, where we're headed, was a priest in Rome who was martyred in 269 and was added to the calendar of saints by Pope Gelasius I in 496 and was buried in Via Flaminia. The relics of Saint Valentine were kept in the church and catacombs of Saint Valentino in Rome, which quote-unquote remained an important pilgrim site throughout the Middle Ages until the relics of Valentine were transferred to the Church of Santa Teresita during the pontification of Nicholas IV.
237 is type 5 miles southeast of Urbe, 1,600 feet.
The flower-crowned skull of Saint Valentine is exhibited to in the Basilica of Santa Maria Cospedin in Rome. Other relics are found in Whitefriar Street Carmelite Church in Dublin, Ireland.
Valentine, 237 radar contact 5 miles south of Urbe, 1,700 feet. Altimeter 29.92.
So, there's some very interesting history there.
237.
So, as February 14th is celebrated as St. Valentine's Day in various Christian denominations, it has, for example, the rank of commemoration in the calendar of saints in the Anglican Communion. In addition, the feast day of St. Valentine is also given in the calendar of saints of the Lutheran Church. However, in 1969 revision, the Roman Catholic calendar of saints, the feast day of St. Valentine on February 14th was removed from the general Roman calendar and relegated to particular local or even national calendars for the following reason. Now this is the interesting part. Even though though the memorial of St. Valentine is ancient, it is left to particular calendars, since apart from his name, nothing is known of St. Valentine except that he was buried on the Via Flaminia on February 14th. So there's some history there, but they're like, yeah, we don't know anything about him, so he's not that important. Hello, Mick. So yeah, it's very... And I didn't know all this, and of course, because you think of Valentine's Day, you think of all the cards and all this stuff, associated with, buying all this stuff, the cards and the candy and, all this other stuff. So yeah, it's not a particularly, there seems to be a bit of I guess fuss with it. I don't know. It's just not very. It's supposed to be like a happy time, but it doesn't seem like it is a happy time. But there's a lot there that when I was looking at it, I'm like, wow. So at first he was like kind of a big deal, and then afterwards they're like, yeah, you know what, we thought about it, and no, he's not such a big deal after all, so so yeah, when I was thinking about that, and when I thought about Rome, and I was like, oh well, we can just fly in a little plane here, just have a nice relaxing flight on Valentine's Day, stress-free, because that's how it should be. Just enjoy the day. It shouldn't be about one particular person or another. It should be about just everybody relaxing together. So it's all good. Watching oh, yeah, I saw this final score. So let me ask you, Mick, for your observation, did you feel, or did you get the sense that the officials were like messing up like a lot, or was it? Do you think they were pretty even on their penalty calls, or what was your overall impression with that part of the game? I'm just kind of curious from somebody who's not a not from America, but follows a particular team. Did you feel like the officials were? Did they blow some stuff, or did they get it pretty well right? or is it hard to tell? I'm kind of curious, just for your observation, what you thought of it. Because I had envisioned, quite honestly, this morning I thought I was going to get up and you know, there would be some news items already that, you know, once again the officials have messed up the Super Bowl and somebody got robbed, so to speak. No pun intended. So yeah, I was just kind of curious what your observations were, if you had any. If not, it's okay. I think some of the calls were a bit soft. I think they have to be shown what a grab is and what on. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I think they've gotten a little. They're. I think they're calling stuff that shouldn't be called, and then the stuff that should be called, they're not. You know, it's like, yeah, they need to define things a little bit better. I agree. And if the referee makes a mistake and said, "Oh, it looked like this from my perspective, but I guess I was wrong," then they need to correct it right away, not just go like, "Oh well," you know. So, well, that's good. I saw the score. It was a much closer game. It wasn't a blowout, which I think for any fan is a good thing, because when it's a blowout, it gets kind of, you're like, okay, there's no chance of them coming back from 55 to 7. You know, it'd be a miracle, which would be amazing, but it's not. Yeah, not very realistic, I don't think. Expectations. So yeah, they. But yeah, at least it was a close game. So I don't know what the spread was in Vegas, so I don't know if anybody made any money or if anybody lost money. Probably a lot of people lost. I don't know that the spread was covered. So all the people that would have had to pay things out are probably like, I'm happy that didn't go the way we thought it would. So yeah. Climb a little bit higher here. Well, I mean, with that score though, it could have been anybody's game, really. I mean, that's just. But I'm glad the team that you wanted to win did win. That's awesome. You know, happy for you. Have a nice little flight over the Italian. Yeah, it's I think in football, with the officiating, they become such a factor in the outcome, it seems. I mean, they need to protect the players and need to call the flagrant stuff, for sure, but they, you know, they definitely protect the quarterback. Some quarterbacks more than others, let's be honest. Tom Brady has enjoyed not only a good offensive line, but he enjoyed the protection of the referees for quite some time in his career. There's no doubt about it. If anybody looked at him cross-eyed, the free safety down the field could have looked at him and the ref would have been like, oh, personal foul, unnecessary roughness on the passer, you know, something like that. So there are some quarterbacks who do enjoy, I think, a much more protected status from the referees and other quarterbacks. So yeah, but well, I'm glad hopefully you really did enjoy it, and it was a good game overall for you. I'm always interested to, because when I was in Germany, I knew some German friends of mine were all fans of the NFL, and they, because that was like the early years of the Euro League, and actually one of the guys in our group of friends played in the Euro Football League, or European Football League. I think he was a defensive player. But yeah, it's always interested the take from an outside perspective, to see what your take on it was. So it seems like the wind is coming from our left here. Good. Glad to hear it, Nick. Good deal. Alright, might get a little bumpy here. We'll go over these mountains. What I may just do, let's see what as we get a little bit closer now, that mountain range is a little bit blocked by the clouds. We might just try to snake our way through there as best as we can. See, I asked for clouds, and I get exactly what I want, and now it's obstructing my view. They always hang around, right around this altitude, it seems like. Yeah, I didn't watch the game. I watched more of that Ice Pilots Northwest Territories. That I really enjoyed the episode with the lead singer of Iron Maiden. That was really cool, and already I think I'm in season 5. He factors into the season again. IndyCar is next. I try to enjoy IndyCar. I don't like the look of the cars. It just looks, I don't know. It might as well be a closed cockpit racing. You might as well just put a fancy body on it and because it's not. They're putting so much stuff, and I get it's in the name of safety. It just doesn't look appealing anymore. When I think of IndyCar, I think of stuff back in the late 80s, early 90s, even the early 2000s. Now I get that there's been some horrific accidents, and they do all these things to try to make the cars safer and all that, but I just don't like the new look of the new car. It just doesn't, it's not appealing at all. This windshield and all this stuff, it's like, I don't know. I think we're not going to hit a mountain. I hope not. I'm really hoping we get through this cloud here in a minute. Otherwise, I'm going to have to turn the clouds off, because this is a bit unsafe. So close to these. Yeah, look at this. This is a big cloud. I think if I go to the right here just a bit, we'll go a little bit off course and we'll get back on course here. I just wanted to try to stay to the right of that range, and hopefully we're alright. It's starting to clear a little bit. Okay, there we go. Little drama there for Valentine's Day. We're talking about the Super Bowl, Addies. The American football game. That was the championship, the big trophy. Like, yeah. So there's a playoff system, and the two best teams from each conference, you have the AFC and the NFC, face each other in the Super Bowl. Because it used to be a long, long time ago that there was the American Football League and the National Football League. And what they discovered, they joined the two under the NFL, and the National Football League. And so you have the American football side and the National Football side, and they face off in the. But then before, it used to be after the Super Bowl, they would have the Pro Bowl. So, you know, the best players from each team would be selected to go and represent. It was supposed to be like a fun game, but a lot of players just were like, they didn't really want to play after the Super Bowl was over, especially if their team had a tough season and they lost, you know, they were on a roll. And so a lot of players just were like, nah, not interested. So now they do it before the Super Bowl, like a week or two prior, I think, and then, yeah. But it's a very big, you know, now it's all about who is in the halftime show, all the commercials. It's all this big to do, you know. So yeah, they make a very big deal out of it. And I mean, lots of people, it's such a big deal. A lot of people take the Monday off after the Super Bowl just because they're up, they're partying, they're probably drinking quite a bit, eating a lot, and they're just like, I don't want to go to work on Monday. So a lot of people just take the day off the next day. It's probably one of the only sporting events here in America where that's what people will do, is they'll take a day off after the big game. Then end of March baseball. Yeah, because spring training will start pretty soon, although I guess that will be dependent on the weather here in America. Yeah, but, you know, some people will report early and get started, probably the pitchers and the catchers, and start getting them working together, especially if you've had some trades in the off season and, you know, some new players and whatnot. And then the other players report, and then you start preseason stuff, the spring training, and then get the regular season going. So I'm hoping this year I might, knock on fake wood, I'd like to catch a game here of our minor league team in town. Because usually, you know, I was thinking about it, that's like the purest form of a sport, is the minor league system. Yeah, I think you're right, Nick. But that's usually, like, that's when the first few players report for training. I think it's usually like the pitchers and catchers report for training first, and then the other position players start to come in after that. Because I think they try to work with the pitcher and catcher to get their signals down and build that, you know, trust between one another and all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, I think the minor league system is like the purest form, because a lot of those players, they're not getting paid a lot of money. Some of them probably have, if they have to, they'll find a part-time job, you know, just to make ends meet, but they're not getting paid a lot of money. So there's not that, you know, it's not corrupted by money, generally, you know. They really are playing for the love of the sport and the love of the game. And it's an engine heater. Let's get this out the way for just a second so I can make sure. Just in case. Need a little warm air here. as we fly over these mountains. Yeah, I like baseball. Well, I haven't watched a game in quite some time. I kind of lost interest in sports. I think during the pandemic, because the seasons were just so you weren't sure what was going to happen, who was going to play, when they were going to play. It was just this big mess, and, which for good reason, I guess. But it just didn't feel very like it wasn't very stable, I guess. So it was kind of hard to watch sports and everything. So, but yeah, I think Joseph said you might watch what the Super Bowl. It's already over, Joseph. You missed it last night. You were probably sound asleep or something. I don't know. But yeah, but you could probably find the highlights on YouTube. I'm sure there's plenty of folks out there on YouTube already have a highlight compilation for the game. The big plays and all that kind of stuff. Blowing around here a little bit, but what was I saying? Yeah, I haven't really followed much sports over the past few years. Pretty nice view here. Could have gone right through that little valley right there. That's alright. Got the coast there off in the distance. Fell asleep. The Cubs' first training game is against the Dodgers on the 26th. Yeah. But I wonder if a lot of that stuff's going to be like in indoor stadiums or something, because if the weather's still bad in March, and it's very likely that it will be because that's how it's been the last few years, yeah. But, now the airport that we're going to, it's not an actual airport, it's a, I didn't know this, but in this part of Italy there are a lot of these little runways, very small. They're either grass or dirt, maybe if you're lucky it's paved, but they're all like little sports club or like flying clubs, and people can go there and learn how to fly. But yeah, they're all over this area of Italy. Little places, they're just dotted around the country. So yeah, it's very interesting. Oh, hello, Amela. Nice to see you here. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to you, Joseph and Mick. I may have forgotten to say that. So yeah, these Campo di Volo, this is what I'm talking about. These little, that's like a flying club. That's what that. I had to look it up what the name means, and that's what it really is. They're all like these little places. But the one that we're going to land on today, I kind of got a sense for it yesterday after we got done flying, and it's got a call it a, it's just a grass strip. There's not really any place to park, but the way we're going to land, we're going slightly uphill, and so it's a very short, it's a little runway, but we should be able to stop in time. No problem. Oh, my nose is starting to run again, and I'm hoping it does not turn into another bloody mess today. Oh, that really was a lot to deal with yesterday while I'm trying to fly and all that at the same time. So, and then tomorrow, don't forget, I will be doing it'll be at 5 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. UK time. I'll be flying with British Ace on in his multiplayer, as long as that's still on, hopefully. I'll check with him later today, make sure I got the time set, but do just make sure you keep an eye on the notifications, so that when I go live, you can hang out and watch either one of our streams or both, because I know Addie's is going to watch both. And so yeah, we're gonna do that, and then so hopefully it's going to be a fun flight. I think I've got the F-14 kind of figured out how to configure the autopilot and everything, so I think it's going to work just fine. So yeah, it's just I'm trying to figure out how I can be close to Ace, so we're, like you can see me on his screen and all that. We'll see. I might try to be just above him and above and behind, so that I'm not right in the wake of his plane. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that tomorrow. I'm not sure where we're flying yet. So because I think it's him, and I think it usually Mr. Quicko joins his flight, or somebody does. Maybe it's Callum. I know there's usually one or two other people that fly with him when he does the multiplayer stuff. I want to say it's Callum, but I might be wrong. Amila, do you know? You probably know this, the answer to this. Who flies with Joe normally when he does multiplayer? Maybe even Addie's knows. I don't know if anybody else is going to be flying with us, or if it's just going to be Joe and I. But what I'll do is I'll let them depart from the airport so they can. Mr. Quick goes sometimes. That's what I thought too. I remember every once in a while I popped in and I've been saying his name, but I think Callum was in there earlier when Joe first started to help him kind of get used to the flight sim and all that. Or maybe that's what Quicko was doing. I don't know. Anyway. So yeah, if it's more than him, which I kind of suspect it will be, I'll just let them get in the air, and then I'll catch up to them, because I can catch up pretty quickly in the Tomcat. I don't think that'll be too much of a problem. But yeah, I should probably message him and ask him if anybody else is joining, just so that who usually flies with Joe when he does his Microsoft Flight Sim stream. I know he doesn't usually fly alone. I think it's either Quicko or Callum joins, or maybe both of them. I don't know. But I should probably message him once we're done flying here to ask to see if if anybody else is joining in the flight tomorrow, or if it's just him and I. But yeah, he's pretty stoked about the fighter escort. So this is going to be a real challenge, because I got to try to match his speed so I don't like go blasting past him into the distance and all that. So I got to really try to either I got to go just a little. Laser jet. Oh, okay, yeah. All right. Laser jet. Ugh. Quicko. Ugh. Oh well. I'll find out if any of those two are joining in, or if anybody else other than Joe and I are flying tomorrow. Because I have a suspicion, and I could be wrong. But I have a suspicion that whoever his usual flying partners are going to be a bit salty if they're not in the flight, and so they're gonna probably be a little agitated in the chat, which I'm gonna ignore. I'm gonna just watch Joe's stream on my computer, but I'll have them muted so that yeah, I'm just focusing on my chat only and all that. So I'm gonna have to like really configure my tabs tomorrow very well so that I can try to see my stuff and Joe flying, so I kind of get a sense of where he's at in case I lose him. So, which I don't think I will. Matter of fact, while we're just kind of cruising here, let me just message him real quick. Yeah, I just want to get a feel for who else is going to be in the air. But I kind of feel like if the folks who usually join him aren't going to be in there, or if he says, hey, I'm just going to fly with Rob, they're going to be a bit I could be wrong, but you know, somebody's going to have some hurt feelings, I think. But we'll see. Now look at this view. Nice relaxing flight here in Italy. You know what we could do? Let's just kind of deviate here. We need to drop some altitude, I think, too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn towards there, start dropping some altitude, and then we'll turn back to the left and get towards that marker. And then there'll be one more marker, I think, after that, and then we'll turn left again and head right for the our little landing strip there. Yeah, let's do that. Get a nice view of the coast here. But yeah, hopefully it's going to be a good flight. Hopefully. I mean, like I said, I'm just going to have to ignore Joe's chat because it's going to be, you know,
Valentine,
just all.
contact wrong center on 131.1. Good day.
So I think the other day when I was watching, he was on Train Simulator 2022.
Valentine's 237, road center altimeter 29.9 continuous planned.
Yeah, I think he was on that, and then, you know, people were coming in and just, you know, it's kind of like what I've experienced. You know, you should be doing this, or when are you, you know, like they were, play this game next, or what, you know, like they're making these demands instead of saying, you know, when are you going to stream this game? You know, like somebody was asking about, I guess, Bus Sim 21 or whatever. You know, instead of just saying, hey, when are you going to do your next Bus Sim stream? You know, they're like demanding him to you know, get on the bus and, you know, that kind of thing. You know, it's just like, I don't know. So yeah, I'll just have to you know, I'm just gonna have to have one little screen where I can kind of get an idea of what he's up to and all that. So because I know when I take off, I'll catch up to him fairly quickly, I think. So I want him to get a little bit of altitude before I get in the air. Or at least past his initial climb and maintain sort of numbers. So it'll be cool. I'll try to meet him on the runway, and I'll just sit there and wait until he's gone, and then we'll go after him. So yeah, I think it'll be fun. Ooh, the wind's about to push me in there into that mountain. Yeah. Well, not everybody, Joseph. It's just the, you know, it's the youngsters who, that they think that's acceptable behavior. You know, we've seen it here already in my streams. It's usually the very younger people who don't have that sense of, well, the sense of patience, or they don't communicate very well, you know. And so they think demanding things is the best way to get what they want, because they won't either. This is my observation. Either they don't have the game, so they can't stream it, or they're too afraid of streaming it themselves for whatever reasons. You know, so they, instead of just trying to find a way to get over their fears, where there's, you know, oh, I'm worried because my voice sounds like this and yada yada yada. People, well, you need to get over those fears, quite honestly. You know, just get over it. That's the best way. Just, it doesn't matter what, if people make fun of your voice, who cares? That just says more about them than it does you. You know. Yeah, they're very demanding, and it's you know, I can't, that's just something that I'm not gonna tolerate. So, but the only other option too is, now I'm thinking about this, you know, looking at big picture things. That means the next Friday, not this Friday, because we're doing Chris's flight from Liverpool to Rome. Oh yeah, I know, Addie's. That means the last Friday of the month, I'm going to have to open it up to everybody, because then that will, we need some more routes for March, for the viewer requested flights for March. So Yeah, I'm gonna have to open it up, but it's gonna have to be. I'm a bit worried that it's going to be just insane in the chat on that Friday. But I think I've cleared out the more what do you call it? I guess the more terrible, well, not terrible, more aggressive folks that are in the chat that got just too out of control. So I think I've got that all kind of dealt with. So, but we'll see. We'll see if it gets bad or whatever. But I'm trying to figure out a flight for that Friday. I'm looking at a couple different options. I think I'm not going to do like a super like 6 hours or whatever. I think I'm going to try for like 4.5 ish. So yeah, we're going to try that, and then we'll go from there. But that'll wrap up. And I'm not sure where we're going to fly this Saturday in the Spitfire. Yeah, I know, Joseph. Yeah, yeah. I know. What's this over here? Yeah, see, there's another one.
Valentine 237, contact grass and ice approach on 135.255. Good day.
Going to 135.255, Valentine 237. Grass and ice approach Valentine 237, 4,000 feet.
Hello, Chris. Well, it's not his. Oh, that's where we're heading towards, right there. That marker. And then we're gonna. I don't think that's really his thing that he likes to do streaming wise. Like, he'll play it for a little while off stream, but you know, it's very repetitive. Look who shows up. So yeah, it's very repetitive, and after a while you're like, okay, we just did this last week or the other day or whatever. What's different? And it's very repetitive in that sense. You know, it's like most of those multiplayer. You know, Destiny's very repetitive. The Division's very repetitive. Most of the COD games, I think. You know, because well, not really COD. I guess it's more of, you know, any of the games where you're like building your character up and unlocking certain aspects of your character, whatever, is very grindy, and then it gets very repetitive. And after a while, it gets very boring. So yeah, it can be a bit much. But a lot of people enjoy that aspect of it. But after a while, you know, like, okay, nothing really new is happening here. What's the point of going on? I need to hold on a second, folks. I need to find I'll be right back. Yeah, exactly, Mick. He is. Yeah, that's true too, Chris. I mean, I guess if you've never played it and it's all new to you, it does seem exciting, but you do hit that wall after a while. You're like, okay, I think I've pretty much reached the limit of my character. There's, what else is there? Hello, Amin. What else is there to do? You know, so, yeah, it's a bit much, but yeah, I think he prefers the sim. I think for him, multiplayer means either a point challenge or something like that, or maybe somebody he trusts comes in and flies with him, and that's about it. You know, so no worries, Alman. Do what you got to do. It's all good. You can watch them later on. It's okay. Your education's important, so not a big deal at all. The same stuff on PS3. That's how bad it. Yeah. Yep. So we're on our way to this marker here in front of us, and then we're going to turn a little bit more to the right. We're going to intercept that, and then we're going to go to the right, and then we're going to turn left. And it's pretty much almost a straight shot right into that little airfield. So, yeah, it's gone pretty good so far. Little over an hour, but that's okay. I didn't even try to estimate the time because it said about an hour, but you know, it's fine. Just relaxing flight. Now, Amin, correct me if I'm wrong. You're from Tunisia, right? Do I remember that correctly, Amin? Because I did do a flight to Tunisia, I think it was last week. Yeah, Palmyra to Tunisia. So, yeah, do check that out if you missed. We flew right into Tunis. There, the big airport there, right on I guess kind of like right on the coast. So. Yeah, that was back on the 10th, almost a week ago. So if you haven't watched that one, do check that one out if you have time. Alright, so we dropped off some really decent amount of altitude now, which is good. And what we'll do is once we head towards after you do story mode in GTA and finish it gets boring. Yeah, well, I think that's why they added the multiplayer aspect, because then you'll unlock maybe some other things to do. I don't know, I'm guessing that's how it works, but I could be wrong. You know, and I noticed that with a lot of these games now, there's a good story and you finish it, you're like, okay, what now? And then everybody's like, well, let's play multiplayer. You're like, yeah, you know, I'm not a very big multiplayer fan myself, because there's always that the accusations of cheating in multiplayer, just all kinds of stuff, and it gets very ugly after a while. So yeah, I steer clear of it as best as I can, because it's just too much. I don't think, generally on average, I never really enjoyed playing. Well, no, I take that back. The only multiplayer I enjoyed was the multiplayer on Destiny Reach. Or not Destiny, Halo Reach. I didn't say Destiny Reach. Halo Reach was my best multiplayer experience, I think, ever. Delta Club Napoli. You know, the interesting thing is that the plane that I'm flying in, you could just jump from little airport to little airport all over this area. Well, consoles, I think, you know, it was great in the beginning when it was just single player stuff, and then when people start, well, what if I want to play with my friends and I want to do all these other things, and then the multiplayer aspect came into it, and then unfortunately the cheating aspect kind of came with it. You know, people were trying to find shortcuts or ways to cheat the system or whatever, and then that became a big deal. And you also had people who, you know, what are you going to do about those sorts of things? You know, because for quite a while in the original Division game, there was a lot of cheating going on in the Dark Zone, the multiplayer area. Slate and chalk. There you go. There you go, Mick. That's what I'm talking about. So yeah, then, you know, people were complaining, and Ubisoft is kind of like, well, we don't see anything, so we can't do anything. And they finally had to acknowledge that there was a lot of cheating going on in the Dark Zone. But by then, a lot of people were just like, you know, you guys royally screwed this up, so I'm done with you. So yeah, it's that's the problem with multiplayer. People will always try to take stuff from you, but it's gotten to the point too, I think, where it's hard to tell when somebody's really truly like skilled at the game and who's cheating. Well, that's right, we're flying over this military airfield here, Brusciano. It's like, why are we contacting the approach? I'm like, oh yeah. So we're going to turn here just a bit, and then we're going to head towards, I think it's over here somewhere, and then we'll turn left and head right for the little runway. Well, yeah, it's the way I look at it, and you're very right, Chris, it's probably going to be very much the same, because in their mind the formula works, right? And that's what counts. And it's the same thing in TV shows. They find a formula that works, and so then whenever there's a new show, they just put a twist on that same formula. But if you watch it enough, you're like, okay, I've seen this before. Where have I seen it? Oh yeah, in this other show 5 years ago. You know, most all the shows on CBS now are all, their winning formula is NCIS, right? It used to be CSI, now it's NCIS. So now a lot of the other shows, including their reboots of shows like Hawaii Five-0 and Magnum PI, have a similar formula to NCIS. And it's, I didn't pick up on it at first, but then I'm looking at them like, wait a minute, I've seen this before. So they know it works because NCIS is a very popular show. So they figure they'll utilize that kind of idea in their new show or reboot, and they'll think it'll work. And sometimes it does, but it's usually people don't pick up on it right away. Once they're hooked, they're like, oh man, this show's amazing, and oh my goodness. And, you know, other viewers might look at it and go like, I don't think it's that amazing, to be honest. It's not It's really nothing special. It's just a tried formula, and they know it works, and they just try to milk it for all they can. And usually that they get out everything they can of it, and then most viewers after like a couple seasons are like, okay, there's nothing really new here, so they get bored of it and they leave. So yeah, it's. But I noticed that when I was watching the reboot of Hawaii Five-0, it's Hawaii Five-0 in name only. It's not. Has nothing really to do with the show Jack Lord was in. And so it's like, okay. And then I'm seeing this same formula that they use in NCIS. I'm like, alright, this isn't anything really new. But because most of the people who watch the new Hawaii Five-0 have no idea about the original. You know, they're like, oh, this show's really exciting, this is really cool. They don't know the history of the show. You know, so, or they don't even know the history of the original Steve McGarrett, Jack Lord, you know, and all that. So, yeah, it's, but you know, it is what it is. But yeah, I was like, I couldn't even make it through. I think I got into season 4 of the new Hawaii Five-0, and I'm just like, yeah, there's nothing really. Maybe it'll be boring, but go back on it after a few months. Yeah, well, and that's how I felt with the Division. Well, Division 2, Destiny. I tried Destiny 2, and I was like, yeah, nope, not interested, because in order to continue to expand your character, you got to buy more of the DLC, and you know, they just want more money from you. It's a money grabbing sort of thing. But like, I'll go on Destiny for a while and just bum around, just do some stuff, because it's, you know, it's fairly easy to do. It's not super difficult to get some bounties done and just have a bit of fun. But yeah, because I did delete one of my characters and restarted, and I'm like, wow, there was a lot of stuff that I had forgotten about from Destiny 1. But yeah, it does suck you back in, but you're just like, after a while, you're like, yeah, okay, now I remember why I gave up on this game. You know, it's getting repetitive again. It's not fun anymore. So, and the thing that I noticed too is, like when I've been running around with some of my characters, you know, one of the 3 characters that I have, the Titan, the Warlock, and the Hunter, the feeling is that, or what I've noticed is, people will somebody will come up and follow me around. You know, like if I'm out collecting stuff in the Cosmodrome, right? Somebody will see me and they will follow me everywhere, and it's like their lost puppy or something. I'm just like, what's going on here? You know, it's like, it's very creepy, you know, sort of stuff. But yeah, I get a lot of invites from people. Like if I'm in the tower, you know, people ask me or try to invite me into their game or whatever. I'm just like, not interested. You know, I've done all the big stuff, and I'm not really interested in doing it again. So I think I've got everything that I want collected, so that's fine. I just run around just for the fun of it. So, but I forgot how much of a grind it really is. Oh my goodness, it's man, I restarted my Warlock, and now I've gotten only one of the supers unlocked, which is the Stormcaller with the electrical thing shooting around. And yeah, it's, wow, it's a grind. And I'm like, man, I forgot how much of a grind it really is to get all that stuff unlocked, so to get all the super stuff that you can get from your from that ability. So yeah, or all the, well, not the super stuff, but all the stuff unlocked for you to be able to have everything for the for that ability. I guess the tree, I guess they call it. So, and then they turned around and simplified it for Destiny 2, which didn't go over too well because there was some stuff that people were like, I liked having this, and you know, but you can't please everybody. But yeah, I do enjoy it. It's fun, but I'm not getting like super involved to the point where I feel like I have to like, oh, I got to do all this. I'm like, you know, I just go in there and have some fun and then get done. I'm done with it for the day. You know, so it's all good. And I have all the stuff that I earned in Iron Banner and the Trials of Osiris stuff, all the weapons and the gear collected. So we're expecting too much out of the game. Easy to say we want this in it, but at the end of the day, they get told what to do by the... Yep, exactly, Nick. Well, I think some companies, that if it's a reasonable thing, like if they say, yeah, okay, that makes sense, we can include this, they'll find a way to do it. But on average, yes, you're right, they already have a vision, and the gamer is not part of that vision. You know, they don't care how much time you have, because the hardcore gamers are going to say, we don't care about the casual gamers. That's not our problem that they don't have 8 hours a day to play the game like we do. So why should they get anything special out of it? You know, I'm doing the work in the game. You know, so yeah, it's very it can be very off-putting. But yeah, you're right though. It's they don't have a there's a lot of stuff that the gamer will want that the developers will be like, no, can't do it, or they'll just ignore it because they're like, we're not interested in that sort of thing. So, and then you invariably you end up losing. Yep, exactly. What was I gonna say? Yeah, they're just trying to make the money, and either you're going to pay for it because you're going to get that peer pressure from your friends. Get this game, it's fantastic, and we'll have fun. And you spend the money, and then you realize, like, this isn't really that fun. I'm not really enjoying this. This is too difficult, you know. And so you get a lot of people that rage quit, or they uninstall it. You know, they give up. Mechanic Simulator. Yeah, I mean, the stuff like farming and stuff like that, it's very, you know, once you have a system down, it's very methodical. You can go in there and go like, okay, I'm going to set this up, and, you know, you have a plan, and you can enact that plan, and for many people, that's very enjoyable, you know, which is good. That's, you know, that's what they should want, but, yeah. So we're almost there. We just got this turn to make, and I'm going to get some more altitude dropped here so we can. And I'm going to try to call, or at least 107.
Bravo Bravo traffic Valentine 2377 miles west 2,500 feet inbound to land runway 7.
All right, so there's our. So we're not going to use that. Obviously, we're going to just fly over and get a feel for the area ourselves. And Well, now in games, and you're right, Joseph, but in games like Destiny or The Division, once you complete the main story, then you have other slots where you can try different characters. And so you go back and you're like, okay, now this character's gonna be this class, and this is, I'm going for this sort of build, and then you work on that. So there's some replayability, but it gets very tedious because it's not. All right, so that's the entry there. All right, I need to kind of level off here so that I can. So I know where the runway is there, but we're going to fly over it and then we'll come back around and land. So yeah, so there's replayability in that aspect of it, which is what they want. They want you to have multiple characters that you're working on to try different things. So I have to put some flaps down when we go in for a landing here. Just to up with the wind and all that. A little windy today. Really thought we were going to get some snow here overnight, but we didn't, surprisingly. It's going to be cold today for sure. Last few days we've had some fairly reasonable weather, but now it's gotten very cold again. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, I think that's the case now. A lot of these AAA games, the shooter, looter stuff, they have different classes of the character, so that gets you to play the game more. After you complete one character, they want you to go and do more characters. Because I think if they get the sense that people are only sticking with one type of character class, then they'll kind of like nerf that character, I guess, and then it's not the same anymore. And one day you'll go in and go like, wait a minute, I used to do this amount of damage and now I'm doing way less amount. What's going on here? So yeah, it's I realized I was losing that much altitude. I get so busy talking, I'm not paying attention to my altitude. Well, they finally emptied out the dumpster. Thank goodness. Oh man, that thing was overflowing this whole past week. It was only getting worse. Alright, so there's our little grass runway right there. So that's entrance into 7, but we're gonna ignore all that and do our own thing. But part of it too is they want you to have that grind. They want you to, start over from scratch basically. And you're just like, man, that's a lot of work. Alright, so this is what it looks like. We're just going to fly right over here. So we're going to come right in over these trees. We're going to have to stay a little bit high and then zip right in there at the end. I think we'll be fine. We've got a little bit of runoff there. If we have to go into that field there or whatever, we'll make it work. But that's the runway right there, just off the left wing tip. So, all right, let's go ahead and get some flaps down here so we can start slowing down, but not too much. We don't want to stall here. which is exactly what's going to happen here. Ooh. Started to climb. I think that level of flap should be sufficient for landing. Alright, there it is right there. Okay. I'm not trying to look at the blue or red stuff there for the lineup. I want to just try to line it up myself. Hello, Bex. Here just in time for the landing. Happy Valentine's to you as well. Valentine's Day. Take care, Amela. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for stopping by. Nice to see you as always. Hey everybody, it's Bex. Look, it's Bex. Bex is here. Now, I have a feeling. I'm going to assume this, or I'm not going to assume it. I'm going to take a wild guess, and I'm not trying to incite anything, but I would reckon if Chris was going to send Bex a Valentine's Day gift, it would be a chocolate cake for her face. The only gift that Chris wants to give. Not that Bex deserves it, but I'm just saying if Chris was going to send one, that's what it would be. Yo, whoop whoop. Nick needs to bring the whoop whoop back into the streaming. It's kind of missed there, Mick. Get a little bit low here. Ooh. Ooh. Boy, we are. Ooh boy, we are really high. Oh boy, we're gonna overshoot the runway here by a lot. Boy, we're. Oh, well, this is not the landing I wanted. All right, let's see if we can turn it around and go back to the. Oop! Boom! That's what happens with that. Oh boy, we overshot the runway and then we crashed on Valentine's Day. Well, there you go. That's what you get. That's what you get for $5 right there. You get the upside down airplane in your field of whatever this is. So, yeah. Oh well, it happens. Yeah, this plane is very touchy with the steering. I should have tried to slow down a little bit more before I tried turning, but that's okay. It happens. But it was fun nonetheless. Glad to come in and hang out for a little while today. Hopefully you enjoyed it as well. So if you want to know more about Valentine's Day, or, St. Valentine, do get to the beginning of the stream, and we talk a little bit about that there at the beginning. So, yeah, a little interesting history. So, yeah, I think I came in a little too low and a little too fast there at the end. I didn't throttle back enough to slow down in time, but That's okay. Stuff happens. We'll be back tomorrow in the F-14. Hopefully flying with, that's what I call a landing. Yeah. We'll be in British Aces multiplayer stream. I think it's just me and him, but I don't know for sure. And if it's not going to be on, then I'll just go live at the regular time. But otherwise, it'll be 5 a.m. Eastern, 10 o'clock UK time. So, yeah, it's going to be an early morning tomorrow for me. So, anyway, do enjoy the rest of your Monday. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody. And do enjoy your day. Until then, peace, live long and prosper. Wow, it actually gave me credit for the landing. Look at that. It said I landed. All right. Take care.